if we're intending to use firearms in the response of a violent intruder, we have to be fully trained on those firearms, and we need to understand what our individual abilities are. The other thing that is helpful is this, and I'm going to say this with caution because it's going to make me sound maybe like I'm not super eager in getting in a shootout, which can be seen as bad in some corners. He had a rifle. So I have a pistol, a compact 9. I got some extra ammo, but not a lot. He's got a rifle with experience shooting a rifle. And let's be honest, even a moron with a rifle can about shoot your ear off at about 400 meters. Right? We've seen this recently with a moron with a rifle.
Yep.
Shooting at the president. So we have to you got to assess these situations, don't we? So he's got a rifle. We have handguns. Am I going to go outside and engage him? Now it depends on the situation. Maybe I can use cover and concealment from car to car to car, and I'll be okay. But maybe retreating back into the church makes a little bit more sense. Shutting and locking the doors. Now I'm like the rest of you. I have a glass door with no film on it. But you know what I can do is I can set up a hasty ambush. And when they shoot out that glass and they duck underneath the push bar, guess what they're walking through? That's called a fatal funnel. And if me and Max and Ken and Carlos, all of us have our guns trained on that bad guy coming in, and we're throwing rounds downrange, he's not going to get through that front door. So that seems to me, theoretically, just based on, remember, I'm picturing something in my head, and you might be picturing something similar, but it only takes one little tiny adjustment to that thought process to change everything I just said, right? Of what the best tactic or strategy would be. My point is we also have to talk about how we would engage different kind of threats. And a guy with a rifle out in the parking lot is a different threat than a guy out in the parking lot with a handgun. The guy outside with any sort of firearm, when it's filled with people coming and going, is a different response than there's nobody out there. So, David, you got something you want to add?
For the rifle, what exactly do you do with it in the church? Is it placed somewhere and you pull it out if you need it? Or, I mean, obviously it's not concealed. It's kind of hard to conceal a rifle. And it might be a dumb question, but I'm asking it.
So as a general rule, I think most churches are not going to have a rifle as part of their safety team equipment. I think as a general rule, there's a lot of problems with the rifle as being part of the safety team's tools. One, you're probably not walking around with the rifle slung on your back. That's probably a little too much for most congregations. Like, why does he have a rifle? I think about the first time I went to Germany as a soldier, and the Polizei are all walking around with MP5s. That was a cultural shock like you would not believe for me, right? It was like, holy cow, where am I? But anyway, the other problem with a rifle in a church is over penetration. So you shoot somebody with a rifle, oftentimes it goes through them and the person behind them and the wall behind them and a few more people in other places. So it's not necessarily good for that purpose. The other issue is if you had it now, you have a rifle and it's secure in a safe. Now the plan is that somebody during the shooting, bang, 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 and they say somebody drops every 10 seconds, but they're shooting at people. You're running across the church to undo the combination, open it up, take out the rifle, make it ready. Meanwhile, there's people getting shot. So I'm not running across the church to get the rifle. So now the next answer is this. Okay, so now you have a rifle, but somebody is sitting right next to it. So the guy who's working the cameras is sitting there with the rifle right there ready to go. That may be an option. Option number 2 is what the guy from Texas can't wait to share. And so, Oscar, share with what you have to say.
This is my Keltec Sub 2000.
Fully rifle.
This Keltec Sub 2000, it folds up and fits in my computer bag. So I can walk around carrying my computer bag, which again looks kind of strange, but not as strange as actually carrying a rifle. It's not a super duper solution, but if I need accuracy at a longer range, I can hit targets a lot further out with this pistol caliber carbine than I can with my handgun. And it still has the same lack of over penetration that my handgun ammo does. So it's kind of a best of bad situations. It's my best bad idea.
Yeah,
But
it's a very complex situation on if you're going to have a rifle as part of the tools that you have at your church. And I would say you really have to look hard at the facility. You really have to look hard at the kind of activities that your church has. You have to look very hard at, what your plan is with that rifle, what the caliber of that rifle is, how it would be used, who's going to use it. You're not giving this. So think about the guy who cried wolf in Texas not too long ago, right?
Yeah.
He decided that he was being attacked by, jihadists or whatever he said. And he may or may not have shot his weapon randomly in some crazy direction to justify his story about how these bad guys were getting ready to attack the church. So the thing is you're going to give a tool like that to a crazy person on your team, and that could just spell disaster.
Mm-hmm. Whatever tools we have, we need to have them on our person, or they're going to be basically useless to us. People can bleed out from an arterial bleed in as little as 20 seconds. I've seen the video. As Chris mentioned, Ed Monk's data shows that on average, people are going to get shot 1 every 10 seconds while we're trying to fiddle around and get something. Handguns really suck at stopping people, but we carry them because we can. We need to be good enough with our tools and have our tools ready to hand. We can't waste time.